Hello everybody, my name's Connor.
And I'm Riser Indy.
And today we're going to be doing a very special gear breakdown to celebrate the holidays. Since it's, the nice winter season, it's getting nice and chilly if you don't live in California. So we're doing the only time, well, second time Indy's done cold gear. But we're doing a Mystery of the Blues gear breakdown. We're going to be going through both of our outfits because they're, a little different.
Just a little bit.
We both started in different places, but just thought of a quick, fun video to celebrate the holidays. So we hope you enjoy, and let's get into it.
Well, starting from top to bottom, I've got an Andre Tognarelli Last Crusade fedora, which most speculate is what Harrison wore in Mystery of the Blues, but we're not certain. Some people think it could have been an Archive Raiders hat. There's a little bit of a controversy there.
I'm one of those people.
You're one of those people?
I'm one of those people.
It's got a stovepipe straight crown.
Even though
it's got the presence of a pinch. I can see it.
If you look at certain angles and certain shots, you can see what looks like what used to be a Raiders pinch that they got rid of. Because they probably
trying to match it to Crusade.
They probably thought we have a Crusade jacket. We want to make it look
for sure.
And also, sometimes it looks like it has a turn, sometimes it doesn't, but it's hard to tell. But
we'll see what I mean. That's exactly it. There is a controversy here. I can't really say where I stand. All I know is that my Raiders hat is not going to be modified to be a Mystery of the Blues. That's staying a Raiders hat. So I just do the Last Crusade Tognarelli LC. Moving on, and still in the LC world, I've got the Steele & Jones Cazadora 38 Smithsonian, which is the Last Crusade Steele & Jones jacket made in their glorious lambskin. I love this jacket, and that is definitive. It is a Last Crusade jacket in Mystery of the Blues. No question about it. Whether or not it came from Lucasfilm Archives or from Ford's personal collection, there's a little bit of questions there, but it is absolutely a Last Crusade jacket. Then we have a Target special from their Target's brand Goodfellows, the cardigan that he wears. I believe the actual screen-used one has a much bigger, thicker collar, but I like the color of this one, and the buttons are cool, so I go with that. Scarf is just a cheap Amazon cashmere-ish scarf. It's somewhere in the range of the right color, a little too light, but I'm not too worried about that. And then we've got an officer's military tie, which I also use for Last Crusade, and now Dial of Destiny. Even though I believe it's clear that Dial of Destiny is not black, but very dark brown. But I still use this for Dial of Destiny as well. Then I've got a Last Crusade Azuma shirt that. I don't know if we even really get to see his shirt enough to confirm what it is in Mystery
unless
of the
you
Blues.
were looking at the buttons on the unbuttoned collar.
But it's so hidden. So much of it is hidden that I think it would be difficult to pinpoint it. It's most likely Last Crusade, so I use my Azuma Last Crusade shirt for that. I've got a Penitent Man Last Crusade bag strap. I don't think he wears a bag in Mystery of the Blues, but as we talked about on the drive up here, we like wearing the bags, so we're wearing the bags today. I've got a Spade Archer holster, which you will see a repeat of when he goes. I've got a Make It Jones Last Crusade gun belt, a Make It Jones double wrap grip whip keeper. This is a Raiders whip. I have another whip, but it's too dark, I felt, for this. It's a Casey Tyler Dial of Destiny. I usually wear it with Last Crusade, but today I felt like this is the better choice. Bag is just a Wested replica. Pants are also Wested, and then I've got my early 2000s Aldens, and I believe that's everything.
What about the socks?
The socks are a Nike special, a dark black Nike special that actually are falling apart, and I need to get new socks. So that you can get that for me for Christmas, everybody.
No, I won't be showing my socks because I cheated and I used comfort socks that are nice and bright white.
Yeah, these are not comfort socks.
But well, I guess I'll run through mine. So we'll start out. I've got my trusty Temple of Doom, Ad Vintage Harrison / Junior mixture, whatever it is. That the era is still a little confusing. I don't know for sure. It's closer to a Harrison than a Junior. This is just what I use whenever I'm not going in Raiders, and I either Photoshop it to look better in pictures or.
Do you actually Photoshop the crown?
I did in one of my posts where I widened the crown. I widened it for Destiny and
oh my
Crystal
god,
Skull.
that's great.
Because it's a picture and no one will be able to tell.
Nice, nice.
But for video, then you just
that'd
have
be
to
a little
bear
bit
with
more
it.
of a bit more of a challenge.
When I do want it to look more like when I do Temple of Doom, I push the I do this because that somehow gets it to look just like the Temple of Doom, like the bridge scene. I figured that out. When I wanted to do Crusade, I just
do the opposite.
I curl the sides
you
like
go
crazy.
From this to this.
Yeah, I do the. Hopefully, that's not messing anything up. I don't know. Then debuting my brand new Raiders Kelso. I know it's not a Last Crusade, but I'm not wearing anything else besides this for a long while.
As of just yesterday, right? You got
yes,
this just yesterday.
Came in the mail. This arrived as of yesterday, as of filming.
Love it.
Super excited. If you've seen any of my previous gear videos in the past, I was just wearing one of those Amazon jackets. They cost like $100.
But he rocked that jacket. He really, you really did.
Listen, I'm still genuinely surprised at the amount of people who would come up to me and say, "What kind of jacket are you wearing?" Because I would say, "This is just."
The distressing the undertones on it made it look cool.
What's funny is that wasn't distressing. That was just fake
that was
pigments
just the
wearing
fake
out.
Pigments?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's amazing. That's amazing.
But what I think actually helped is when I would wear it with things like Mystery of the Blues, because it would cause me to actually wrinkle the sleeves a lot more.
Yeah. No, it had a lot more character.
I mean, that jacket does mean a lot to me. It was a gift from a family member, and I had the Crystal Skull bag patch. Jacob Bassett, he had an extra one that he was replacing his on his bag, so he gave it to me, and I had it replace the tag because I guarantee you the tag isn't where. It was some random maker. Yeah. It's all the same jacket with a different tag on it.
Yeah, of course.
When you're looking on Amazon. So,
yeah, of course.
I still think that's fun. It's because you're wearing it on your back, it rubs out, so you can barely tell. You can just see kind of the faint indent of the HJ, but I like it. But I don't think I'm going to be wearing it anymore now that I have this.
No, you can't, because you've got.
I would feel very. There would be a deep pain in my heart if I was wearing that jacket and I said I have a Kelso.
I know. Yeah.
But underneath, we've got just a Amazon cardigan. I know we went for a slightly different color. I personally went with a more saturated color because I know how desaturated the actual show is.
Yeah. So you think like this is truer to what it
I wouldn't say
was.
It's truer, but for me, I like how it photographed. I think. I like how you have a more overall muted tone.
Mm-hmm.
I just like having stuff that pops out on camera because I like having contrast in my photos, but I also do really like having something that's more earthy. But I also I'll get to this later. Why I also like having this, but I also like how it matches.
Just so they can see.
Yeah, we can get
much more up close here. Yeah, just so you can see the comparison. You've got
mine is
the
very
Target
much a
Goodfellas.
nice,
this is an Amazon, much richer, much more red in this. Like he said, this is a lot more muted,
saturated.
Yeah, very saturated.
This is more earthy tone. This is more just kind of.
That's cool though. I really like that. I like that a lot.
And then the buttons are replaced. I went and bought some.
I was going to ask because those buttons are great.
Yeah, these ones really simple. You go on Amazon, you look up leather. I think you could just look up leather buttons, and it'll be like one of the first options that pops up. They're super cheap. Cool. And you just sew them on in place of the old ones. Shouldn't be that hard. I didn't do it. I had someone who actually knows how to sew do it because I'm not good at sewing. And then on top of that, same as you, just a Amazon scarf that was slightly different in color.
Yeah, once again, now I think mine is has a little bit more saturation.
Yours got a little more pink to it.
We should trade.
Well, yeah, I mean this kind of closer to a camel.
Yeah.
Or more of a beige.
Yeah.
But yeah, less saturated.
I like it. Actually, it actually is very nice with that more saturated.
Yeah, I think
they balance each other out.
Yeah, it's like you have saturation where I don't.
Yeah.
And I have saturation where you don't.
I have a little puff here too. There we go.
And then underneath that, I'm actually borrowing from Daniel here because I forgot my tie at home, but it would have been pretty much the same. This one's just a little thinner. It's a shiny silk tie, which mine was kind of silky anyways. Usually you want like a matted tie for because all the officers tie are matted. Last Crusade he had a matted tie.
Yeah, this was my tie that I used for Last Crusade and Dial of Destiny and everything. And then randomly on Halloween, I found this officer's tie just lying on the street, like in the middle of the street in LA. So I just cleaned it up and sanitized it, and now it's that. That's the only reason I have a better tie.
Well, what I assume is that your future self found the perfect tie.
Yes, I love that.
And
oh
when
God.
on your deathbed, you had to give it to your
Like,
next heir and said you have to go
can't
back
keep
and put it on the
using
street.
that silk tie. I have to go back. If it's the last thing I do, I'm going to go back in time and leave a tie. You could have just mailed it to me,
And that's why it's so
Daniel.
dirty. No, yeah, but silky tie. Honestly, it doesn't matter if your tie is silky or matte. It's all up to what you prefer.
Yeah, for sure.
How it photographs and stuff.
Yeah,
Underneath,
for sure.
I have my Raiders Wet Price Glory with my replaced buttons. So they're just
I
a
was
little
wondering
dark.
because I like the
Well, they're
buttons
not
a lot
replaced.
more.
I did Kirk's method where I just
Oh,
mask
cool.
off and paint them because
Oh,
I'm
nice.
too lazy. So you can see how I painted over the thread.
Masking off and painting buttons does not sound lazy to me, in my opinion.
Well, actually, I think the way I did it was when I got a couple of pictures of the Raiders buttons.
Yeah.
And then I zoomed in on them really hard, and I tried to get the closest color that I could.
Yeah.
So I just had basically a little sliver of paper that had what I thought was the best color, and then I took that to Home Depot and matched it with a spray paint.
Nice.
Then you
nice.
just use like a matte clear coat over it. If you
remember not
want
to block
if you want to know how to do that, check out Kirk's video on weathering a shirt. He goes over that. That's one of the main steps. But yeah, that's just my normal Raider shirt.
And just check out Kirk in general because he's a sexy man.
He's also one of
He's a
the
sexy
main
man.
pioneers of Indiana Jones gear, especially on YouTube and stuff like that.
One of the pioneers of the modern era, my
Yeah.
friend. One of the pioneers of the modern era.
Yeah, there's plenty of when it comes to Indiana Jones gear, everyone's a pioneer in some way.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Down here, just some Wet Price Glory pants. Hopefully, I'll be able to get some new pants from Adam coming soon. I'm excited for those
That's
coming.
exciting.
My whole belt rig is just a Spade Archer, so same holster but different belt. This is a Doom belt, just because it's whatever I had. He doesn't wear, or he wears a gun belt.
He does wear a gun
He
belt.
wears a gun belt,
It's really
but instead
hard
of a
to
holster-
see a holster, but I believe there is a shot where you can see a holster when he's walking through the snow.
Yeah, so he has a holster, the radio, and then the whip.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, neither of us have the radio today.
No, I didn't want to
do
spend
anything
money
like
on
that.
a big
same,
old
Same.
50s radio. Whip holder is Spade Archer. It's an 8-foot, and just a single wrap. The whip is a 9-foot or more, like 8.5-foot. This is my Trinity. Actually, this is one of the other reasons why I got such a saturated cardigan is because I like how it matches with the color of the whip.
Oh, that's cool.
So I like
That's
that.
Cool. I like that.
Same whip as before. And then I've got my, what is it? They're either early 2000s or late 90s Alban 405s. Still not sure, but either way, could be either, but they have the duck lining, so it's hard to tell.
I think they're late. I think they're late 90s.
I'm
these
definitely
are early
leaning
2000s, and there's a few details of yours, particularly with the logo, that makes me think it's late 90s.
Yeah, but and then I have just regular socks. I don't have anything special. I don't have anything in my holster. Number one, because it's a Spade Archer holster, and he makes these things so stout that you don't even need a gun in this thing.
That's true.
You could tell someone you had a gun, and they would probably believe you.
It's true.
But I also am kind of under the impression this is the kind of age where the war's over. Indy probably wouldn't, or he does have a gun. He does have a gun, but let's just pretend that I'm the version where they took away his gun. They took away his. I'm later Mystery of the Blues. You're early Mystery of the Blues.
I'm just running out of the truck. The truck. But yes, I've got a. This is actually pretty crappy. I'm going to show it to the close-up camera over here. This is just a crappy resin gun. I'm not going to say the maker because there's some issues that people are having with this maker, and I'm not going to give them publicity. But a very good friend of mine purchased this. It showed up very damaged. He was able to convince the guy to give him another one, which also showed up damaged, but less damaged. And out of the kindness of his heart, instead of throwing it away, he gave it to me. So I have a resin Webley that mainly I use this for Last Crusade. And it just lives in my holster when it's on display at my house. And we could do a close-up on this later, but you can see.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's very, very matte.
I had to re-glue this, and I never found those pieces.
It feels like this looks like a hand-me-down car.
It showed up with the sight like just gone. Like it wasn't broken in the box. It just like the site.
If a friend
he
had
sent
made
it
this
like
for
that.
me and given it to me as a gift,
Yeah.
I'd say, "Wow, that's amazing."
That's what I said when I got.
But
it, I was
but
like,
if I
it was
bought
free,
if I
thank
bought
you.
that for money with
Yeah.
money
Yeah.
and it showed up like that
Yeah.
with parts broken off,
Yeah.
I'd be a little.
I would be
peeved
pissed.
off.
No, he was really well, and the thing was like $200 or
Yeah.
something like that. So he
Especially-
was not happy.
Yeah.
But
And I will say,
yeah.
like, honestly, if you put like just a little bit of rub and buff on
No,
that,
I
it'd
know.
probably give it a little bit better of a
if you
finish.
just got this, like you can see these very very distinct like silver details. It's just too much. It's too silver. But if you
Yeah.
if you dump
if this
that
was
down,
muted down, it'd probably
it would look
you
good
wouldn't even
for
recognize,
pictures.
and
It
you
would
wouldn't
look good
even
for pictures.
recognize. But
you
it's
wouldn't
like
realize the site was missing or
yeah,
anything. It would
it'd be
fine.
distracting your eyes from all the
Yeah.
the bits broken off.
Yes. I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, a very happy holidays, and if you have anything to be thankful for, be thankful that you're a part of a tiny but mighty, wonderful community, and get those whips out as soon as the sun comes out. And for those of you who are actually in the snow, get some great pictures, share them on Instagram, and just keep being a part of this community, because I don't know about you, but I'm having so much fun getting to know everybody here, and I just think that this is a community that deserves to grow, and it can only grow if you help it grow. So get those pictures out there and get to know us all, and we all love talking gear. We're all a bunch of nerds. Yeah, not to go into this tangent, but like I was in this community years ago when I was a little kid, and it was a totally different landscape, especially with the vendors. You had a very small number of vendors, none of which were fans. And, Steve Delk was kind of the first one that really, like, rose up from the fandom. Even before Crystal Skull, like, he was the first, like, real fan to, like, offer stuff and stuff like that.
We want to be able to have a hat that is an Indiana Jones hat.
Yeah, that's better than the vendors that we had. Then I left the community for a long time, and when I came back, it was like the fans were the kings. You had Steele and Jones, you had Tognarelli, you had Ad Vintage, and Herbert Johnson was suddenly like on the map again.
And Weston
and
came
Michelle
back
is really
again.
a fan. Yeah, Weston came back like
it was almost kind of like a resurgence in the
because
2000s,
the fans
really.
because the fans came in and they said, no, we're going to do better than the existing vendors, and that forced the existing vendors to really up their game. And now the stuff that's available, I would have been having. I mean, they were like fantasies as a kid.
Listen, I had the
stuff
easy.
this good.
I got
now.
it easy. I had hundreds. I had thousands of people who I could be like, where should I get a gun belt?
Oh yeah. I'm getting
people.
it easy now, because now I could just be like, Diego, make me a Raiders Temple and Last Crusade,
Yeah,
and then I
you
just wait
grew
for
up
8
and
months I get it.
you had barely anything. I stepped in and I said, oh, this is so easy. I don't know how anyone had trouble doing this.
No, it was that's for another episode. We can talk about that. We can talk about like the history of the gear world, which I really want to do. But that's a whole other. All right,
I'll steal that from you like I have. But anyway, really, I hope you guys enjoyed this short little video going over Mystery of the Blues. As a nice little holiday treat, and we'll see you guys in the next one.